Welcome to episode 20 of Should We Have Watched That?
I'm Soraya.
And I'm Amanda.
We listened to a gorgeous music show called Pour Me One in Silence.
This was presented by, oh gosh, I might butcher this.
I'm going to call him Essie. That's what they called him on stage. We didn't hear the pronunciation of his name in its entirety. Yeah. So, Essie.
Yeah. It is 60 minutes long. It's $40 per ticket, and it was at Lyric Underground. Yeah. Which is a beautiful venue.
Really, really intimate, gorgeous venue.
Yeah, I've never been.
No, I mean, no, I haven't, but I have.
Lyric.
I've been to, Lyric is part of another, in the same building as another kind of pub. Yeah. And I've been to, the upstairs pub.
Oh,
not Lyric's Underground, yeah.
But it was gorgeous.
It was. Unfortunately, this was the last show what we went to was the last show. However, if this does sound interesting, Essie will be performing at Subiaco Arts Centre on the 23rd of Feb in a Persian music festival or Iranian music festival. So if you like the sound of this, please check that out on the Subi Art Centre website.
Yeah. So Essie did say that he wasn't feeling the best this night, and he had a bit of a sore throat and a cold. So he was a bit apologetic about his voice if things were a bit off. I didn't think.
Furthermore, he did say that because they were recording this session, and so they had a cameraman running around getting different angles, as well as a stable camera at the back. And he said that if he repeats something, it's because they need the footage for getting other gigs and that kind of thing. So that did happen only once.
Yeah, where he was getting
he did a duet with Steve. So
the pianist.
Yeah,
at the time.
Let's talk about the group, shall we?
Yeah.
So we had Kira, and we do actually have what I love about Pour Me One in Silence is that on the Fringe World website, Pour Me One in Silence gave all the names of their performers, which I think is really lovely. Like a couple of the things we've been to, like the burlesques, it would be lovely to know even just the stage names so we can mention who we were talking about. Yeah. But they actually did this in Pour Me One in Silence. So Kira Gunn was on the harp.
Gorgeous.
Amanda and I both have talked about how we wanted to play the harp when we were kids. Yes. I would still love to play the harp.
Me too, honestly. I just don't think it's something that I'd want to start and then not, I'd have to give it a full go.
Yeah, it's not something that you can start like you can probably other instruments. I think a bit like a double bass perhaps, but it's because it's such a big instrument and it is a huge investment of money. You can't necessarily, you can buy a violin, I would say, for $150 off Gumtree.
So cheap. And then if you want something better, then you can invest in a nicer quality violin.
But there's no way you're going to get a full-fledged harp for $150.
Especially as an adult.
Yeah, oh my god, Kira's harp
was gorgeous.
So beautiful. Watching Kira play, so beautiful. And her closing her eyes and swaying as she was just she was up at the top of the range of strings and just leaning back and just really enjoying her work. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful work.
I thought everyone was beautiful in the way that they played. I feel obviously they'd been chosen specifically for their talents, and boy, that they all have incredible talent on their specific instruments.
Yeah.
Beautiful work by everyone, and they were so into it, and you could just tell that everybody loved what they did. And honestly, this is the epitome of why I think music is so healing, going to this. I don't know, music was, this is a bit of a backstory to me, but music was such a big part of my life when I was growing up, because I had a brain tumour, and that kind of stunted a lot of my, growth and stuff, and music kind of became my first language that I picked up over, English and Indonesian, and I kind of forget, I love music, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I kind of forget how much it plays a part and how healing it is. And then this was a reminder of that, going to this. And I had moments where I just closed my eyes and swayed. Like, I just wanted to listen. And I think the venue really accommodated to the sound as well.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like the issues that we had at the Ellington when we were seated next to the band.
Area. Yeah.
Because we were on the wings.
Yeah, but but we weren't on the wings in the same way. We weren't in line with the band for the Ellington one.
It is kind of an, apples to oranges comparison.
Yeah.
But I thought the sound quality was phenomenal by the venue and also, obviously, the artist on their specified instruments.
I want to go back to Kira real quick about her voice. Being the only female voice on stage, because the rest of the band are male presenting, Kira's she just cut through all the the deeper tones and gorgeous. Essie had a moment where Essie is the inaugural member of the band and then found each person. He is Iranian and introduced Persian music to the group when he found them individually, and he said that he's slowly but surely making Kira sing more and more because she has a beautiful voice, and she does.
Not wrong. Facts. Yeah, she certainly did.
Yeah,
they just all seemed very talented.
I loved their improvisational moments where, particularly Kira, and I want to pronounce his name correctly, Wayan, the cellist.
Wayan.
Wayan. On bass, not cello. Sorry, that's my bad.
He's Indonesian.
Amanda had a little happy little jolt when hearing that. But they had this beautiful language where there was just a sway of Kira's body that encouraged Wayan to play. And then they just kind of started grooving together on the same wavelength. It was just watching them watch each other to get their cues for improv was beautiful.
Yeah.
And Essie poached Wayan.
Oh,
shit.
It's okay.
He grew up in Indonesia, but he had quite an Australian accent.
Yeah, he did.
So
more than I did.
Yeah, guessing a bit like you that grew up in Indo, but maybe had Aussie parents over there,
or
something
an
that.
International background, maybe as well. Who knows? Could have also gone to school.
That's true.
Internationally.
He was touring the US when Essie found him and was like, I need a bassist, come play. And then also got him to start singing too. I couldn't actually hear his voice, differentiate his voice between the other male singers, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, me neither.
But beautiful work. I love watching a bassist play. Double bassist play.
Too. One of my favourite things in music is a running bass line. And Wayan delivered. I was watching him and I was like, running bass lines, when in jazz or blues we're like bum 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 bum, but obviously not that because this isn't blues or jazz. But I was just fine tuning into him. I was like, I love it.
That's lit.
I love it.
He also had incredible vibrato. It was so slow, and at one point there was he had almost a solo. And watching his hand shake, because we're used to, both being violinists, used to vibrato being quite contained and tiny, but his was so long and over enunciated almost. It was gorgeous. So he was great. And then moving on to the drummer, Steve Richter. I thought Richter.
Richter.
It's got a H. I don't know.
Richter.
Steve.
Steve.
I watched Steve so much during the performance. He was having the best bloody time. He was loving it. Every time there was a call and response, he was just grinning, and it was like he was trying to goad the other person to do something interesting. Come on, hit me. Yeah. What you got? He was having such a good time.
He was. And he was just grinning and smiling the whole time. Even when he wasn't looking for... Even if he wasn't bouncing off someone.
Yeah. Which, like, that makes it sound like this call and response thing makes it, or like goading someone into playing something different, makes it sound like this is an aggressive kind of music. It is so soft and gentle.
Yeah,
and
it is very delicate.
Builds, delicate's a great word. We'll come back to it. Steve said that, like, to the audience when he was introduced by Essie, because Essie introduced everyone one by one at different parts of the show, and Steve had a moment to kind of discuss Persian music and how he's not sure if people have noticed, but it starts off slow and then soft, and there's a moment where, like, every so often it gets louder, but it is for the most part
volume
soft. Yes.
Yeah.
And I said to Amanda after the show finished that, like, so it was a boiling hot day when we went. It was at least 40 degrees.
Got our Pims.
We had our Pims cup, which is, Pims and lemonade, and we needed that because it was hot.
It was hot.
And coming down into Lyrics Underground, which was already a bit of a cooling space, and then having this it felt like cool music being washed over us. If you need something soothing and wholesome and almost like enlightening, I think that this is the kind of music that you want to listen to. Like, I've started writing the physical review for it, which Amanda hasn't yet seen. But I said that it's like soft mist at the bottom of a waterfall. That
is gorgeous, Saraya.
Thanks so much. And that if it gets too loud, it's like we're animals at, like, drinking the water from the waterfall, and the waterfall doesn't want to spook us, so its current doesn't pick up. Something to that effect.
Isn't she a poet?
Oh, thanks. I was inspired by beautiful music.
It was beautiful. It seriously was. I didn't really know what I was going into for this.
No, me neither. I just thought, hey, it sounds like an interesting... Because I think I picked this, didn't I?
I think I did. Because we wanted to do... Because we were saying, and that we wanted something a bit tamer and to have a chiller night. So, and we got that. And it was so meditative, I thought. Like, I just was able to turn my brain off. Mm-hmm. I think after Yeah as well, I kind of told myself going into this, just turn your brain off.
Yeah.
But I think even without telling myself to do that, the music did that for me.
Yeah.
And I seriously did just have moments where I just wanted to close my eyes and listen. And just... I was telling Sass, when I was closing my eyes and listening, I was getting so bothered by people who were coughing or who were speaking, because I was like, how dare you?
I don't understand people that go to a live performance event like this, and Essie asked the crowd how many people have seen them perform before, and most of the crowd, how many people haven't seen them haven't seen them before. Put your hand up if you haven't seen them before. And so we put our hand up, and honestly, not very many people had not seen this band.
Yeah.
And so unless people were lying, which their audiences love to do.
Yeah. Because they're shy.
Yeah, and they don't want to, like, be picked on or whatever. So most of the crowd didn't put their hand up, and so I would assume then that most people have experience with viewing, like, listening to this music, so know that it's quite soft.
Or maybe even if they've got a Spotify or something. I'm not too sure, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, because he said that he wrote...
Yeah, the
Pour Me One in Silence.
And another one that was earlier in the show.
Yeah.
But if it's soft music, I understand if you want to have a quick convo when there's some music blasting in your ears that's coming over speakers, but if someone is performing what they performed for us and you're having a loud conversation quite close up to the stage, I'm sorry, get out.
Yeah. It's infuriating.
It's so rude, and that like we're here to watch them. You paid for a ticket, why aren't you enjoying the ticket?
Yeah, we also did have a lady directly in front of us take a video
of the entire last song
with her flash on, and she had one of those cases that lit up as well when you have your flash on,
like making a luminescent phone.
Yep. So it was just fully going off. And I honestly felt like I couldn't enjoy that last song.
No, ditto.
All I could see was this bright light in front of me.
And it's annoying to say that it's not, like, I don't know. I kind of assume that when people, you know, are putting their phones up and stuff like that, that it's going to be younger people, like our age group or even maybe Gen Z. But no, it was older generations that were actually ruining this show, which...
Also, how could you not tell that your flash was on when
your whole phone
lit up?
No, I think I saw her put her flash on.
Oh,
she
fabulous.
started recording and then put it. So that was a dampener on it, to be honest, because...
Seriously.
We wanted to enjoy it, but we felt like we couldn't because we had this woman in front of us being exceptionally rude.
Anywho.
Take it back. Wait, we have one more person to talk about.
The clarinet.
Yeah, Jeff. Borgelt on clarinet.
Jeff. I don't know, Jeff.
Jeff B, shall we? Was a classic. So during his introduction, he said that he was a classical
trained
clarinetist.
Is that the term?
I did check with another clarinet player, and I was like, "Is that right?" And he said
good.
Yes. So I'm hoping he's not wrong.
Can't say I've used it in a sentence before.
You're welcome. No, spell it. And that he said that it's very hard. It was hard coming over to this kind of music because it's in classical music you don't often have the chance to improvise.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't used to improvising, and also had a little bit of education about Persian music. They use quarter notes. So in between the half notes, they find another note.
Which is so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So I really liked Jeff saying that because it was a little bit that we had no idea about. And I liked his call and responses with Essie. Essie on the end-blown flute, which is called the ney, N-E-Y. I haven't seen one of those used before. I thought it was actually a pan flute, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
A really interesting instrument because it's held. Yeah. Would you like to tell the people where it's held in the mouth? That sounds really weird, but we're talking about...
Tell him.
All right. So... Because I didn't see him put it in the first time because I think I was staring at Kira playing her harp so beautifully. But it's off to the... So, like, the what is that called? The bit that actually goes inside your mouth. Mouthpiece. Fuck. The mouthpiece is held not between the lips or between necessarily like, the teeth, where you would usually have something like a saxophone or a clarinet. It's put up against... I think the right side of his...
Like gum?
Yeah, or like up against his teeth. It was in between his teeth and his upper lip is what it looked like to me.
It's such a fascinating instrument.
And then the rest of his, like the left side of his mouth was just open.
Yeah. I don't know how he was... We both don't know how the sounds are being made.
No,
not at all. No clue, especially because there were moments where... You know how in singing you can go into your head voice / falsetto and then or even your chest voice,
or even with violin you've got your regular notes and then the
falsetto
harmonics
as well. Yeah
I don't... How did he get higher?
I literally couldn't tell you.
Because there were these beautiful deep notes he was able to produce, and then at one point it just went so high.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
I don't know.
It was almost like someone was whistling through their teeth, but in a beautiful way. Not often happens with whistling through your teeth, but it obviously wasn't through your teeth. It was
but
through
because it was delicate and not jarring.
Yeah.
Like whistling through your teeth.
Yeah.
But I don't get it, but I was fascinated.
Yeah.
Well and truly fascinated.
Well and truly.
It was such a gorgeous instrument.
Yeah. And the hand drum that he had as well at the start was really interesting. I was very confused as to how he was holding it. It was like it was...
I think it was like...
Right
I think he had
here.
his thumb in between, like, the drum, and then he was playing it like that.
But then I swear I saw his thumb being used on the other side. It was just... I don't know. It was... Amanda's trying to give me a demonstration.
So maybe it was like this.
Because I swear that at one point he had a hand completely on the other side. Anyway, sorry. We'll. It's an interesting way to play an instrument that I hadn't seen before.
Look, we're just fascinated, clearly, by a lot of these instruments.
Yeah, and there was something that Steve, the drummer, who played handpan as well as... Keyboard and a huge plethora of other percussion who he's also has a classical percussion background. Mm-hmm. There was a moment where I could hear bells and I was like, oh my god, he's got bells. Like twinkly little bells, like the bells
they weren't regular bells either.
And then he pulled up something that had like shells on it.
Yeah, like the rain, like kind of a raining sound.
Yeah.
That came out of it.
And he said that he tries to create textures, and
that was
love that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was such a beautiful description.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so spot on.
Sure was.
I just thought it was such a great combination of instruments as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think the clarinet was the last one to grow on me.
Yeah.
But I think that's because I have a bias against with the harp and the double bass.
Yeah.
Because I think they're such gorgeous instruments. Just personally.
I agree
subjectively.
with that. I was actually not sure that the drums were going to work correctly.
Me neither.
But
they did.
They did because he had different drums than a usual drum set.
I was thinking that
it was I think Congo drums.
And he mentioned that he wasn't just using regular drumsticks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he used other, like, there was rakes or something.
Yeah. Because I did think, like, these don't sound like regular drums. They almost sounded deeper in texture.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
I think he was using drums from other ethnicities, which give that deeper,
and like
more,
denser,
organic kind of sounds, which were beautiful,
and not so like tingy.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Definitely was not at all tinny. And the handpan duet was beautiful.
That was I think that was my favourite.
Oh, that's so fair.
I love a handpan. I think they're such beautiful instruments as well. And I had no idea that this was going to come out.
No.
And I thought that it was just going to be Steve doing a solo, and then the fact that they did a duo.
Yeah.
And they did have beautiful call and response moments in this.
Yeah.
Where they were just so playful with one another.
Yeah.
And it was just such a joy to watch and listen to. And they were having the best time up there. Like, they were like, a bit.
But what about this? But what about this?
What do you think about this one? And it was just, it was so nice.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. Like, I just felt so, like, it was just so sensory, like, enveloping in the best way.
Yeah. It was gorgeous. The only thing that I did not like about the show that wasn't to do with the audience was a moment where Essie had, the singer, the creator of the band, had a moment where he thanked some friends in the audience. And it felt really self-congratulatory? Is that the word I want?
I don't know.
Oh. Or like self-indulgent, perhaps. As if, like, there weren't other members of the band there. It was just his mates. And the audience didn't know what to do with this, so they applauded each person that he brought up.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't know who these people are. Maybe the other audience members did.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
Not us, because we didn't know.
We had no idea. But it was very out of place in the show, considering how deep and soulful and relaxing and sharing the performance was. That just felt like a moment that was completely out of something completely different.
Yeah. I did like his beginning introduction where he was like, he was thankful that we wanted to share this. Like, he used the word sharing to come and share the experience with them. And I was like, that's such a beautiful way of phrasing it. I did think that at the time. And I was like, and that's exactly how it felt. And, yeah, I don't know, like, it was just such, it felt like it was a privilege to be there, to be honest, to listen to that.
I think it was a sold out show, hey?
Yeah, it was. And it was just culturally insightful as well. To listen, I mean, I knew that I liked the handpan, for instance, but I've never heard it live in person.
And the sounds that came out of that, I really thought that it sounded like there were more people playing than just two. It sounded like there were other instruments involved, but no, it was just the handpan.
Yeah. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of briefly spoken about, you know, the other things that we usually speak about, like The location, which we loved.
The set,
Lighting was beautiful as well.
Dialogue was just the chat from Essie and the other members of the band. And,
yeah. And then favourite moment?
I wrote down my favourite moment during the show because I was trying to keep track of everyone's name just in case they didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
They didn't have it on Fringe World, which they did, which is great. But I also said the handpan duet.
I just looked at that.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it.
We're allowed to have the same favourite moment.
Yeah, we can.
But
it's a sharing experience and we're sharing the favourite moment.
Yeah, we are. But I did also love because they had quite a long introduction to the first song and then they all started singing.
Yeah.
And that was unexpected and a soft delight. And we talked about textures before, and the texture that created was just gorgeous. Again, Kira's voice just really stood out in that moment. It was beautiful.
I also loved the handpan moment and the call and response moment between Steve and Essie. I also really loved Kira's solo on the harp. It was just so delicate and stunning and meticulous, and her runs were beautiful, and
she's a whopper girl too.
She is a whopper girl.
Represent.
Oh gosh, it was unexpected in terms of how much I enjoyed it.
No, yes, same.
In all honesty. I almost wish it went for longer because I was just so happy to sway and listen. And just, I wouldn't mind a personal show where there's not people interrupting.
Being annoying.
But yeah, it was just such a delight.
I do wish it was running for longer, like the show itself went for more days, because there's a few people that I think it would have been lovely to suggest for them to go and see it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it was quite a short run.
And if you're having a hectic week or day, I feel like this would have been such a good thing to go to.
Which you might have felt hectic trying to get to it at 5:45 because it was a relatively early show. But you would have definitely felt relaxed after it. And I liked that it was so early, to be honest, because it allows you to like go and see a beautiful show and maybe have dinner afterwards, or like go to another show. And I think this is a very Fringe show. Just the fact that it is some like music that you don't usually hear, like in Australian society. It's not something that's on the radio very often. It's nice learning about different cultures.
It felt very slow paced in terms of when you're in it, but it went by pretty fast. It's so weird. Like it was a bit of a trance for me, to be honest, I thought.
Apart from when the man next to you sipped his beer.
It's okay. It like doesn't even, like, people are allowed to drink, but like I just really wanted to be in the moment.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know,
I do.
Oh, anywho, 3 words.
3 words. So, what do you think yours are?
I would say delicate.
Oh, I knew you were coming back to that one.
I did like that word.
Yeah.
I said it
You did?
in a way that I was going to come back to it. Transportive, which it certainly was. There were times where I thought it was just so whimsical as well. But that's not the word I'm going to use for the third one.
So if you're a 4th word, a word and a half even.
Oh, I'll just...
that's all right,
I just sprinkled that one in.
It's just a bit of texture, guys.
And healing. Absolutely.
Gorgeous, yeah. I think mine would be entrancing. Educational, because I did learn a lot more about not only Persian music, but about like some classical instruments, like for instance clarinets. It's difficult to do quarter notes. Learning that quarter notes are kind of a thing, seeing as I didn't do any jazz and stuff. Like, anyway, sorry, getting off track. And soothing, or I almost want it to be cooling, but I wanted to merge those 2 words together, so we can have a 0.5 a word together.
Okay. I like it. I'll take it.
Thank you.
I'll let it slide. Well, that wraps up today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Should we have watched that, Sass? Yes.
And I'd like to see more of their stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'd love to, especially with how I felt walking out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I felt great. It was an absolute delight. So next up, we shall be watching
Bernie Dieter's Club Cabaret.
We've heard good things, guys.
Bernie apparently comes back to the Fringe, Perth Fringe World every year, and she was kind of the main event, as it were, for this year. And we've heard, wonderful things about it. Everyone said that we should go, so we're very excited about it. We're going.
Well, thanks again, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
I've been Soraya.
And I'm Amanda.
Bye.
Bye.